Welcome to the Foolish Wanderers podcast.
Why must I be surrounded by fools?
Welcome, Wanderer.
Hey Wanderers! Welcome back to the Foolish Wanderers podcast. Today, we're talking about the skunk ape.
Yep, it's a skunk ape.
Before we begin, we want to plug all of our social medias.
Okay, you can email us at
fwplisteners@gmail.com.
You can follow us and DM us on Instagram at
Foolish Wanderers podcast.
Okay, and you can subscribe to us on YouTube at
Foolish Wanderers podcast. Here we go!
Wow.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh no. Okay, here we go. Okay. The skunk ape, a supernatural creature or a case of mistaken identity.
Identity?
Identity.
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't know about the skunk ape, it's kind of like the Sasquatch's like redneck cousin from Florida. From Florida, it's a Floridian. So the skunk ape is an ape-like creature, and it's allegedly to inhabit the forests and swamps of some southeastern U.S. states. But mostly, it's from all of the reports are from Florida. I haven't really found any from like other states, but they were just like, "Hey, it might be in Alabama."
It might be migrating.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, migrate through the winter. Okay, it's named for the appearance and unpleasant odor. The skunk ape is reported to resemble the Sasquatch of the Pacific Northwest, but is typically shorter in comparison, and it has long patches of hair on the shoulders and arms, similar to an orangutan, and is often described as a mottled rusty red color as opposed to the Sasquatch's brown and black coloration. And some reports also describe the creature as having pale coloration around its eyes or face, similar to a gibbon. So this
What's
thing is
gibbon?
a gibbon is a type of monkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a monkey. So basically, this thing is most definitely either an escaped orangutan from a zoo or a gibbon.
Is there like multiple that have been seen like in different areas, or is it just like this one area?
It's always in. There's like multiple like sightings. Some of them are like in the suburbs randomly, but mostly this thing lives in like the like backwaters of Florida. It's like
Okay.
the swamps. It's like a swamp monster. Yeah, so if you look, I don't know why this article said it looks like a gibbon, because if you look up a gibbon, it's literally it's like a monkey. It's a little like cute little monkey. It's
I
a
just
cute
tried to
little
type
monkey.
in gibbon and I hit enter before I saw what it filled it out as. It
What does
says
it fill out?
Gibbon's funeral home.
Okay, I split second thought it was like a monkey funeral home.
Let me do this without the autofill.
Oh my
That's kind of.
god.
I can kind of see it. Like it's kind of interesting because like the gibbons, they have like black around their eyes and their nose, and then white, and then like their darker color, like their fur color.
Yeah, but once
So,
we
like,
get into more about the skunk ape, like I don't know why they even said it looked like a gibbon, because like the skunk ape really doesn't have like a particular look. Like a Sasquatch,
really?
like Bigfoot or anything, like it looks universal.
Mm-hmm.
It looks the same. Like these things, all of like their so-called like evidence and such, it's varying.
Okay. It's
Mhm.
like something that I've kind of like thought about, like with, and I hear a lot dealing with like Bigfoot and like the Yeti, Sasquatch, like all these things. There's been a lot of like all around the world, like basically every continent has their own version
Oh
of
yeah.
this. So it's like, so that could be part of it too. It's like there could be one specific so said skunk ape with like the specific markings, and then the rest of them could be like the sightings if they don't look exactly like. There could be these other variations
Mhm.
technically that supposedly exist.
This one is like this. Okay, the skunk ape is like strictly, I think, like for tourism.
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
think so. The skunk ape has been part of Florida, Georgia, and Alabama folklore since the settler period. So its Seminole myth speaks of a similar foul-smelling, physically powerful, and secretive creature called, I'm gonna butcher this, pronunciation, but I'm gonna try my best. Esti Kapkaki, a name which roughly translate as cannibal giant.
Oh,
So beautiful name. One of the first reports of a large simian creature in Florida came from 1818 when a report of a man-sized monkey or ape raiding food stores and stalking fishermen.
that's terrifying. Could you imagine, like, even with our like buildings nowadays with like steel and brick, could you imagine being like a settler and having like just the shacks, like tents and stuff like that you'd have like when you're not like in your settled home? You see this thing? Like, that'd be
No,
terrifying.
I'd crap my pants
The
or
skunk ape.
britches or whatever they call it. I'd crap my britches
It's just
or
like,
I'd crap my pantaloons. That's an older. Okay, so it's like local Native American groups from around here. So the Seminoles are from Florida, and I'm gonna butcher this again. I'm very sorry. The Mikoski tribe. They've known and told stories about the skunk ape for centuries. Over the past 60 years or so, Floridians of all stripes began reporting that they were seeing the creature. A similar pattern happened in the Pacific Northwest, where indigenous beliefs in the Sasquatch eventually led to the skunk ape's better known cousin, Bigfoot. So this
okay,
yeah, so this thing is sort of like a Native American like legend, myth, like story that's kind of been passed down through generations.
that's what I
So
kind of heard too. Is like apparently they had like cave drawings and stuff of like these kind of creatures. I've seen some sources say like they used to have paintings of people being eaten, or say like their kids would be taken and eaten by these
oh my
creatures.
gosh. Well, it is called what was it called by the Seminoles? The cannibal giant or the
Mhm.
Estikapkaki. So cannibal giant, so it would be snatching and eating children.
Which is even more terrifying.
Mhm. Okay, so it sort of like has had like weird sightings of the skunk ape like around Florida, like mostly in like the swamp area. It's just kind of like a legend until in 1997 Dave Shealy captured a photograph of the legendary creature and it was featured on the Discovery Channel, the History Channel, Animal Planet, the Smithsonian Magazine and many more like different like news out what is it? News facets?
Outlets.
Outlets, that's a better one. I don't know what a facet is. Okay, so the Shealy family skunk ape headquarters has served as an Everglades icon and world famous roadside attraction for decades. So this guy, Dave Shealy, he's been on like the Stephen Colbert report, like the Daily Show, like that. He's been on there. He's been on like different History Channel, like weird documentaries. He basically got a video of this so-called skunk ape, and ever since then he's been like obsessed with trying to find it. I was watching a
Hmm.
video where I think it was for Animal Planet. They were like just like touching in on him maybe like 3 years ago. They were like, "Hey, what are you doing? Have you caught it?" He's like, "Nope." He's like, "But I go out every single day into the Everglades and I sit there for 10 hours and
Oh
I
my
wait
gosh.
and I watch." So that's kind of what he does.
Like, how do you make a living out of that though?
I think it's definitely like the roadside attraction for like tourism and stuff. Like they have like their own little like museum
Okay.
that they have, and he's claims to have found trackings of the skunk ape, and he's made casts of like the footprints, like the tracks and stuff. Yeah, so he spent like 30 years hunting this thing so far.
Gosh.
And he's a local celebrity who's promoted Everglades tourism and he's tried to gain awareness of the skunk ape species worldwide. And also if any of our listeners want to know, Dave is available for private events and filming opportunities. So so if you want to contact him directly via email, it's skunkapedave@gmail.com.
Should email him and ask him.
Mhm. And if you'd like any other information about the skunk ape, you can go to skunkape.info.com, which is the official skunk ape headquarters. So I think they just do like tours. They have like there's like a campsite there. You can do camping there. They have like a zoo, a
A
pet.
zoo of what?
It's like not a skunk ape, obviously, but it's like an alligator or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then they have like gift. They have like a gift shop, and you can get like bumper stickers that was like "I saw the skunk ape," stuff like that. So that's kind of their deal.
So when was the first one cited again? In like 1818?
Oh, ever?
Yeah. Do you know?
Well, like it's like, again like the Seminoles have there's like a myth that believe that they
Okay.
have seen it before. So,
Yeah.
but yes, but in the first like alleged sighting, like one of the first reports is came from 1818 in Florida. Okay, yes. So the skunk ape has been widely adopted across South and Central Florida as a mascot for the Florida wilderness and rural culture. The cryptid has appeared in numerous roadside businesses and attractions, television commercials, and signs. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, several Florida businesses have used the skunk ape's reported foul smell, giving incentive to remain at a distance and evasive nature to promote social distancing.
I mean, smart. Still
Mhm.
advertising in
Yeah,
this strange time.
it's fun. So, yeah, I think if I remember right, it was like a amusement park, like a roller coaster ride that had like a commercial of the skunk ape, and he was like wearing a mask and everything,
Oh.
and he was like social distance.
Jumps up behind you. Social distance or else.
Yeah, Gatorland.
Gatorland?
Gatorland.
Is that the skunk apes?
That's the folks that came up with the skunk ape social distancing like commercial
Oh, okay.
promotion.
Gotcha.
Yep, they do. Like it looks like it's an amusement park. So yeah, the skunk ape has just sort of been adopted as like a mascot for the Florida Everglades. So he's just a really cool way to get tourists in there.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, and that's all I have.
Well, thank you, Kenja.
Yep, that's all I have.
I feel like a teacher. Thank you, Kendra. Any
Uh-huh.
questions,
Yep,
class?
I'm like a second year old. I'm like, that's all I have.
It
That's all I have.
was like my worst nightmare in school. When you're just standing up there and you're like on
Yep,
the end slide. You're like,
yep, and I'm like, "That's all I
that's
have.
it.
That was it. That was all I have." Yeah, so, I mean, you can look at the video from Dan Dave Shealy said that he allegedly saw an escape. It's from the videos from 2000 like, you just Google, like, Dave Shealy skunk ape video, ape footage or whatever. It's from the year 2000, and you can, judge if it's a real person in a costume or if it's a real live skunk ape. I think it looks like a person in a monkey suit, but
Yeah, just by the image you have on the slides here, it looks like a person running through the field. Which,
yeah.
like, makes sense too, because I have a hard time believing that he wouldn't have seen something after 30 years, like, seeing it again. Like, he's just saw it once, and then he's like
Yeah.
I
It
mean, it's possible, but you'd think you'd hear stuff or, like, because Bigfoot, they've supposedly, like, click or, like, howl at each other, and then
yeah, that Shealy, he believes that there are as many as 9 living in the area bounded by the it's 730,000 acre
oh
Big
my gosh.
Cypress National Preserve.
Okay.
So he thinks 9 live in there.
Yeah, it's a
And
pretty
he's
big area.
yeah. And he has claimed to see like 4 ever since he was like a little boy.
Hmm. Has there been other sightings in, like, around, like, this time, like, around 2000 and up, or is it just mostly this
Um,
guy?
there was one that I saw. I think I have it on a picture, on one of the slides, but it's like somebody ran into it like in the suburbs or something, and they took a picture, and it really looks like a doll. It has like glowing red eyes and
Oh, ew.
yeah.
Oh, is that the one with the palm trees in it?
Yep, it's hiding behind
Okay.
palm trees ever so slightly.
Oh, that's creepy. I don't like that.
It's fake.
You better hope it's fake, otherwise, like, I would hope you wouldn't get that close.
Well, I don't live in I know what Floridians do. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it looks very scary, but I mean,
Mhm.
But that's all I has.
Thank you, Kendra, for teaching us about the skunk ape.
Oh, I got more. Hold on. I'm finding stuff. Okay, so Dave Shealy, who's like the godfather of the skunk ape search committee, he first saw a skunk ape in 1973 when he was 9 years old, a few years after his father discovered a set of huge footprints. He
Hmm.
was deer hunting with his brother Jack in the Big Cypress National Preserve. So the Big National Cypress Preserve, remember, is where he thinks there's like 9 that are
Mhm.
currently living there. So he says, "It was walking across the swamp and my brother spotted it first," Sheely recalled. "But I couldn't see it over the grass. It wasn't tall enough. My brother picked me up and I saw it about 100 yards away. It looked like a man, but completely covered with hair." So it could have possibly just been like a homeless, like college boy that had been lost since spring break and he was just like
Didn't
wandering
shave.
the Everglades, just, like, delirious and drunk. Like, that could possibly be.
Drunk, didn't shave, just
Uh-huh.
decided to go for a stroll.
Okay, here's another one. So just after midnight on January 9th of 1974, Richard Lee Smith slammed his car into something near the intersection of the US Route 27 and Hollywood Boulevard on the eastern edge of the Everglades in Pembroke Pines. Smith told the Florida Highway Patrol that he initially thought he hit a tall man in dark clothing.
Oh,
But he
what?
was but he was stunned when a 7 or 8 foot tall hairy creature lifted itself off of the road, roared at him, and charged his car.
Oh
Smith
shit.
gunned his engine and took off. Over the next few hours, drivers in the area reported seeing a limping giant walking along US 27.
Oh.
Officers were dispatched and at 2:12 a.m. at a Hialeah Gardens patrolman reported a huge, hairy creature limping along the road a few miles from the accident scene before it disappeared into the brush. At dawn, police searched the swamp with 2 helicopters but failed to find anything.
Oh wow.
I know.
And, like, they didn't know, like, what else it could have been then? It just was like, it's like a bear wouldn't be on 2 feet. It'd just be like, because we're
That
two
or
or
like,
we're 2 feet.
very tall man escaped from the circus or whatever. Here's like a recent one. At 2 p.m. on Wednesday, July 6, 1997, Steve Goodbread, a guide for Pelican Tours, was driving a bus with 30 tourists along Turner River Road in Big Cypress, just east of Okapi. He was stopped at a wooden bridge when he observed a large creature standing erect behind some brush approximately 70 yards away. It was about 7 feet tall, with thick brown hair covering its entire body. The creature was rocking back and forth, shaking the bushes, and appeared irritated by their presence. Goodbread and his passengers observed what they believed to be the skunk ape. For at least 15 minutes, he tried to persuade one tourist with a telephoto lens on her camera to exit the bus and take photographs, but she
Why would you
refused.
exit? Like, that's terrifying. Like,
If
why
you
would you
actually
even
saw something,
ask?
yeah.
Yeah.
In retrospect, Goodbread said it was probably a good idea that no one got off the bus.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good observation. Really good observation. He drove away with the creature still in sight, even though Goodbread had always believed in the possibility that the skunk ape existed. He was shaken by the experience and refused to advertise or exploit the skunk ape with his tours. But isn't he exploiting it right now by talking about it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
To be like, come join my pelican tours where you might just see the skunk ape.
But 20th century reports of the skunk ape in Palm Beach County are numerous. I know it exists, Palm Beach County Sheriff Deputy Marvin Lewis insisted in 1980. He and fellow deputy Ernie Milner shot a tall creature in 1974 west of Lantana that grunted and quickly disappeared into the swamp. In
Oh.
June 1974, Lake Worth farmer Buddy Sterrett said a skunk ape lifted one of his hogs, weighing over 100 pounds, and ripped it to pieces.
Oh no. Oh.
Anger issues. In, Sep- in September, Wellington security guard Kerry Cantor shot a skunk ape after it approached him from out of the woods and ignored his commands to stop? Well, yeah, it wouldn't speak English.
It's like you're probably in his territory. He's probably not gonna want to stop. He wants
Yeah,
you to leave.
the wounded creature ran back into the brush. Duh. It is interesting to note that in 1974, the Everglades was experiencing record drought and wildfires. So that could possibly, if the creature does exist, that could possibly have been a factor as to it like having to move to a more populated area to
Yeah,
escape wildfires.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
It's really sad, but yeah, it makes sense.
But Florida skunk ape sightings persist into the 21st century. On December 29th, 2000, the Sarasota Sheriff's Department received an anonymous letter with 2 enclosed photos from a woman purporting. What the hell? What is that word?
Purporting? Let me
Purporting? I guess it's purporting. Don't ask me, people. I'm a fool.
purporting appear or claim to be or do something, especially falsely profess. What?
What word can I use instead of purporting?
A document purporting to be official, to convey to the mind as meaning or thing intended, express or imply. So basically
Okay.
say like,
Documenting?
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I'll say that. Okay, here we go. Okay, on December 29th, 2000, the oh my goodness,
Sarasota?
Sarasota Sheriff's Department received an anonymous letter with 2 enclosed photos from a woman purporting, oh, I said purporting again,
It's okay.
from a woman documenting to show what her husband believed was an escaped orangutan that had been stealing fruit from their back porch. She
Hmm.
never mentioned anything about a skunk ape, but the photo clearly shows a large primate that is definitely not an orangutan. It definitely was an orangutan. Okay. So the letter began, enclosed. Please find some pictures I took. My husband thinks it is an orangutan. And is someone missing an orangutan?
The zoo?
End quote.
Like,
The woman
like,
wrote that for 2 nights it has taken up apples. What? The woman wrote that for 2 nights it has taken apples her daughter brought down from up north off of their back porch. The photos were taken on the 3rd night after she went outside to investigate a repetition of deep whoomp noises. I don't know what whoomp means, but whoomp noises is what she found. She aimed her camera at something that moved in the darkness behind the saw palmetto bushes at the rear of their property. After quickly snapping 2 photos, each accompanied by the blinding flash, the creature retreated into the woods. The woman wrote that its awful smell lasted long after it left the area. She leashed their dog in their backyard and it never returned. The woman signed off, God bless, I prefer to remain anonymous.
wait, she released her dog after this thing?
I
Or she
think
leashed it up?
she like leashed it.
Oh, okay.
Just put it in the backyard, but like I'd be terrified
Okay.
that it would eat my dog.
Yeah, like I bring it inside.
Mhm.
Is this thing supposed to be like an omnivore then? Or it's eating fruits now too? Not just
I have
meat?
no idea.
So that's kind of interesting because like usually, unless it's desperate, like it wouldn't be eating, especially like an apple or something. Like,
I don't know.
hmm.
So anyway, many researchers, I don't know who these researchers are, but many researchers believe that the skunk ape are the descendants of orangutans that escaped from traveling circuses that frequented Florida during the mid 20th century. While it is true that many sightings have described the creature as resembling an orangutan, the average orangutan stands only 4 feet and a half tall. Wait,
4.5 feet tall.
is that what I wanted to say? The average orangutan stands only 4.5 feet tall and weighs less than 200 pounds. Many of these skunk apes have been reported to be at least 7 feet in height. It would also not explain why a tall swamp creature known as the SD kapkaki, which has been seen by the Seminoles in the Everglades for over 200 years. Dun dun dun.
I guess that was my question was like how tall is the average orangutan? If orangutan, yeah, because if it's twice its height, so it can't
Mhm.
unless it had a weird mutation that made it a lot taller.
Yeah. See, I think it's if it does exist, it's definitely like some weird escaped orangutans from like the zoo or like a traveling circus or something that has been able to like survive and reproduce for.
Yeah, I guess like I don't doubt that like something like Bigfoot exists. It's just kind of interesting how many different types, I guess. But I guess it's kind of like you say like dogs. There's dogs and cats and like birds. There's so many different kinds. So like it's possible, but I don't know. How
I don't
many
know,
like how many generations would it have to go through to get from a 4.5 foot tall orangutan to a 7 to 8 foot tall?
hundreds and
Like
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. But I mean,
yeah.
it's probably an escaped orangutan or something, and then like they're just using like the legend and myths from the
Mm.
Seminoles.
That could be just like kind of built hysteria over it, and
Yeah.
then that makes
It's
sense.
like
Yeah.
that there's alligators in the sewers in New York City. Okay, so I found that there have been 325 skunk ape sightings total in Florida.
Oh wow. But I suppose
And
too, like he has a lot more space to run out there than.
yep, and most of the reports are close to the Everglades.
Okay, so that makes sense because that's their home, so they're not gonna want to spread out too far.
Nope. So
Hmm.
again, if you want to get any more information or fun or watch fun videos about the skunk ape, you can go to skunkape.info.com and they have a cool gift shop.
While you're there getting your information, pick up a shirt.
Yeah, pick up a bumper sticker. All right, now this is all I has.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kendra.
I tried.
I try. Thank you guys so much for listening to another Cryptid cast. Please don't forget to check out our social medias. Follow us on Instagram. Feel free to DM us if you have any more cryptids that you want us to talk about. Watch our videos on YouTube. I'll be including the link to the video that Kendra is talking about on our Instagram and on YouTube as well in the descriptions. So please go check it out. Tell us what you think. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's an escaped orangutan? Do you have any other theories if it's a man in a trench coat that's just walking around aimlessly?
Just email me.
Email us at fwplisteners@gmail.com. And thank you again so much, guys, for listening to us and putting up with our shenanigans while we try to figure out how we're going to run things.
Oh yeah.
We sincerely appreciate all of you. And please, we'd love to hear from you guys. So please email us or DM us. And yeah.
We claim to know nothing since our college degrees say art on them.
Well, technically design, but
It says
yes, like
art.
it
It
says
says
art.
art.
It says art, yeah. I fingerprint on my furniture.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Bye.
See y'all next time. Bye.
I finger paint.
Finger paint on my chairs and sell it for $1 million.
I wish. Email me.